welcome back to Catherine's Couch. I think in general today we'll be talking about there's more joy ahead of you than you realize. I've been thinking a lot about hot takes lately in general, and I want to bring hopeful hot takes. You know, like sometimes I feel like hot takes can be rooted in negativity, but most of my hottest takes are hopeful ones. And I have a hopeful hot take that more people will love you than you realize, and there's more love ahead of you than you realize. First of all, I don't know if you can see this. One of my best friends, Brooke, I love her so much, got an embroidery machine and embroidered this for me. It says Catherine's Couch, and the font is Boston Angel, which is so cute. I love this for me to put my little coffee on. It means so much to me. The wedding that we were in is a really great example of there's more love ahead of you than you realize, because I have spoken pretty candidly that I feel like in my life I've struggled a lot with friendships, and I think that has a lot to do with my ADHD, definitely. But for a good period of time in my life, I felt really insecure about friendships, and I felt like in order to have friends, I had to pretend, like I had to act, and I couldn't really be myself. And so I just really felt lacking in that department. And I just came back from my best friend's wedding, and it was genuinely one of the best days of my life. Like, when I moved across the country, I used to tell people I felt like the Grinch. Like, my heart grew 2 sizes. I love Massachusetts because that's where I'm from, and I also love California because that's where I live. I don't love one over the other. I get to experience 2 loves in life. And I think one of the biggest takeaways of my own wedding that surprised me was how loved I felt by the women in my life, how much people go out of their way to help you. And I had seen that coming up to my wedding because I had gone to some weddings, and I have always loved weddings. But one of the weddings I went to, I was an usher, and that meant I was helping people get to their seats, and I was an usher with other people who I hadn't known. And just the pure excitement that women attending the wedding had to have to get any chance of helping the bride is just, it's such a cool group. Like, it's such a cool thing to bring people together. Friendships and relationships, I've noticed, start with something you have in common with somebody else. And it's so cool to have something in common that is how much you love somebody. So my best friend's wedding was incredible. I cried so much. I felt so lucky because I love the bride and groom so much. Both of them are 2 of the best friends I've ever had in my life. And I used to say I never wanted to be a bridesmaid at a wedding because it felt like recruitment, and I just wasn't into that. And it's so funny how that changed. It just was so cool. The group of that getting ready was one of my favorite parts, and it wasn't even the wedding day, and it was just women helping each other and bringing up breakfast and bringing up food. And they got married at this beautiful villa in Tuscany, and we were bringing stuff up for the makeup artists and for ourselves, and it was listening to music and laughing and connecting and talking about Summer House, which I cannot wait. By the time this is aired, Summer House's reunion part 1 has already aired, and I am vibrating. A quick side note, I have watched every single season of Summer House, and I have watched every single season. Summer House and Vanderpump Rules are very important to me. I have seen them since the beginning, but I prefer Summer House. I'm from New England. I've always loved Summer House. When the scandal of it all happened, I was obviously shaken to my core. To me, what has happened to Sierra is not to compare apples to oranges. They're different. It hits me in a deeper way, and I am literally levitating out of my body to see the reunion. So anyway, the groom, his sister was in the Page program. She's so cool. Her name is Axie. She's literally so cool. I love her. She's so funny, and she's so cool, and she's an oldest sister. She's his older sister, and she was in the Page program. That's where she met her husband, which is just so chic. So chic. I grew up watching SNL. I love NBC. I'm that is so cool. And she used to work for Bravo, even cooler. And so we were all talking about everything, and it just felt like the coolest camp of the most friendly women ever. It was so cool. I cannot stress that enough, how much fun it was. So much of my young life, I just feared I couldn't have that. And I think when I feared I couldn't have it, it was because I wasn't being myself. Like the things that actually light me up, the things that I love, my hyperfixations, my things that I thought would make me different are the things that make me me. And when I've shared them with other people, it's like a cool filtering effect where it's brought people who love what I love closer to me. You told 20-year-old me that I would be not only in a wedding with somebody, but somebody like I consider actually, I really like her. Like I love hanging out with her. I've seen her a lot. Her brother's obviously one of my best friends and like all this stuff. I would be like, you're kidding. Like that is so cool. And it's cool because it's something I genuinely, like I sincerely love. It was just one of the best days. It's so cool to love your friends' friends. And to feel like, I feel so honored to have the friends I have in my life. And I love their friends. And it's cool to be in a group of people that you're like, this is such a great group to be around. And I fit in here by being myself. Like that's kind of how I felt all week. Just so lucky and so loved and grateful and so at peace with all the people I was around. At the beginning of the time, like the wedding was in Tuscany, but we got to Florence first. That was where the rehearsal dinner was. So we took a bus from Florence to Tuscany, the whole wedding party, and asleep. And I overheard people were talking about astrology, and like one of my best friends, Brooke, was like, Catherine has this thing on her channel where she does chart roast and it's so cool. And like, it's just so cool to be seen and loved that way. Like all of the things that you really love that light you up are meant to be shared because there is somebody who thinks that's so cool. For every person who doesn't, there's somebody who does. And to be seen and celebrated and loved for all that you are is the most really comforting and fulfilling feeling on the planet. And I think that everybody deserves it. And it has to start with you seeing and loving yourself for all that you are. There were years of time in my 20s where I spent figuring out what I liked. And all of those years really prepared me for friend groups that got the same memes and relationships rooted in things that we all liked. As soon as I stopped trying to be somebody else and took all the energy into being myself, life got a lot more fun. I've had a lot more energy and it got a lot more fulfilling. That's my hopeful hot take, that like if you're feeling like nobody gets you, that's a great opportunity for you to get you. And the better you get yourself, the better people can find you who also love what you love and love to do what you love to do. Can you see Heather too? The first day I've had a voice in like 4. I just can't really kick this. 11 hours of sleep debt, flying. Oh, okay, last thing. I have my first influencer events this weekend. I'm going to an influencer event on Saturday. I am so excited and so nervous. It's a Pilates class in Malibu. 2 hours. I don't know anyone else going, but I'm going to go. And I am super excited and super nervous. And so I'm trying to like heal my voice for then. My voice does seem like it's on the up and up. So I'm just going to focus on like getting rest and not overstraining it by over talking, which is, we'll see how well that goes. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me on my couch. Find me, comment other things you want to talk about more in depth on our couch together. If no one has told you yet today, let me be the first to say you're always on time for your own life. I love you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.